You're not going to believe this one. It's a literal castle on top of a mountain for sale in France. It's over 32,000 square feet. It's got 20 bedrooms and 13 bathrooms, and it sits on over 10 acres of land. And the views are to die for. I'm not going to pretend it's cheap, but it is less expensive than this 4-bedroom house in Austin, Texas, and cheaper than this 4-bedroom house in San Jose, California. I'll give you all the details, so keep watching. Hi, I'm Tommy from TravelTyrant.com. I'm building a community for people who are passionate about long-term travel and want to explore expat living in Europe. To learn more, join the free newsletter at TravelTyrant.com. This one really blows my mind. This entire castle is for sale. It's called Fort Queyras. It's located in the southern Alps of France, perched on a rocky hilltop in the middle of an alpine valley. A fast-moving river, popular with kayakers, runs alongside the property. The current price is 2.5 million euros, or about $2.8 million, which is a lot of money. But when you think about how expensive it is to buy a house in the US, this doesn't look so bad. Before we look inside, let's check out the area around the castle. From this zoomed out view, you can see that Fort Queyras is located in the southern Alps, very close to the border with Italy. In fact, it's just 11 miles in a straight line to the border of Italy. There are a few ski resorts in this area, and if I scroll down to the bottom here, you can see all the lifts and runs that they have going on. In fact, my wife and I went hiking at one of the ski resorts in this area a few years ago. We took a ski lift up to the top of the mountain, and the views and hiking were unbelievable. Here's one hike very close to the castle that takes you up to an alpine lake set in the middle of these beautiful green fields. These valleys nearby are full of towns and cities, so you're not far away from civilization. My wife and I actually had pizza at this place after our hike and got to sit outside and look over this beautiful blue lake. I mentioned that this area is popular for kayakers and rafters, and you can see all these red dots down in the valley are outfitters that can take you on rafting or kayaking trips. Even though it may seem remote, there's actually one restaurant right at the foot of the castle, as well as a couple of others very close by. There's also a grocery store about 5 minutes away, and the closest hospital is a 9-minute drive, and it bills itself as the highest altitude hospital in France, and it looks very nice. Let's go down to Google Street View and take a look at the scenery. So we're down on the floor of the valley, and this is the Intermarché grocery store that I mentioned is just a few minutes away. And if I turn to the left, it's hard to see. Here's that river that runs next to the castle, but I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And you can see that's the castle sitting on the hill in the distance. It's really amazing. Now we're a little closer, and I just wanted to show you what it looks like as you approach the castle. You can see there's a brave bicycler to be riding in this territory. As we get closer, you start to see there's the castle. And as we get closer, you can see this is not a desolate area. There are houses and obviously a lot of cars and traffic around. So people either just enjoy visiting this area, or maybe they're coming to see the actual castle. Wow, look at that. Imagine just pulling up and thinking, well, there's home. Right here at the foot of the castle, you can see there is a restaurant, and it looks like maybe a shop, ice cream. And just look at these views back down the valley. Let's turn this way and go up to the entrance to the castle, which is right here, I believe. Yep. There you go. Fort Queyras. And it says a medieval castle built in the 13th century. It looks like once you pay your entry fee, this is the way to get into the actual castle. And you can see it's quite a substantial structure. Here's a view looking back down the valley from where the castle is. Looks like some ancient ovens. How would you like to have your morning coffee out on this patio? And there's a literal room with armor and a cannon. I'm guessing that this structure here with the maroon or burgundy windows is the owner's residence. And obviously it looks like it is an actual functioning tourist site. So I'm not sure what the restrictions might be on what you could do with the property. Here's an ancient stairwell going down, and here is a closer shot of the owner's residence. Depending on what the government regulations were for a historic site like this, you might be able to do something like that show Escape to the Chateau, where they bought an old castle and converted it into a wedding venue to do like destination weddings. I know there's a lot of income potential here. It just depends on what kind of restrictions you would have. But when I think about owning a castle for $2.8 million versus owning this house for the same amount, there's just no comparison to me. Don't forget to join us over at TravelTyrant houseenvironment.com. And if you want to know how to find cheap houses in France, I made a video for you and it's right over there.